Greetings, my friends, and welcome back to the blogging training. This is going to be breakthrough for a lot of you because for whatever reason, people find blogging intimidating. And I will tell you that this is probably one of the best things that you can do for your brand and one of the best things that you can do to drive traffic to offers that you're doing or other things that you're offering. Why? Because it's free and nothing better than free, right? So the first thing I want to do is debunk some of the things that are being said out there. You've all seen the ads that, SEO doesn't work anymore as far as, trying to get the free traffic. Well, I'm going to be the one to tell you not only does it work, but we know, especially the people that are in the industry know that the ones that say that is because they're trying to sell you something. Usually it's solo ads or PPC training, which is the pay-per-click. If you don't know what that is, you're going to learn that as well. And don't believe it. I'm going to debunk it right now. So I'm going to go to one of my niche sites. And let me see if, whoops, that's not the one I wanted. It is one of my niche sites, but it's not the one I wanted. At least I don't think so. Let me see if I got. Yeah, we got a lot of phrases here, but you know what? Let's go to a smaller site. I mean, I've got a lot of traffic on this site here, and but you know what? I'm going to show you something that my wife did. Let's see here. Okay, let me pull up the site, and it ranked literally the same day that she did it. Okay, so this is one of my niche sites, and I help people get out of debt. Most of this is done online now, but back in the day, I wanted the local stuff too, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go with this one. This was a keyword that would have been extremely difficult to rank for. Now, if you know what you're doing, you can rank for things that you're not really supposed to rank for. And I'm going to give you tricks and techniques of how I do it. Okay, so I put in the keyword phrase in Google, and you'll see that I get the local search results of 2 million page loads. That means 2 million competing websites for this page, right? Because if there's 2 million websites out there that have this keyword phrase in, I'm assuming we're all trying to be on the same page. So this is what it looks like. Now, everything on the right-hand side, these are ads. If you're doing keyword research, if you see ads, usually it tells you something. Usually it means that you can make money with this, okay? What do I mean by that? Most people that do ads do keyword research results themselves, and they know where people are searching for things, so they place an ad there for people to click on it. Now, if anyone clicks on the right, or I don't know if you see this, but this is highlighted right here. Let me see how far. Okay, it's only going down to here. You can see where. So these are all paid. So right here on the left-hand side are paid. Everything on the right-hand side is paid. If you were to click these, that person probably got, especially in this niche, they're probably being charged anywhere between $5 to $7 per click, which is a lot of money. But it's a highly competitive market, and it's pretty lucrative, so that's why some people do it. Well, you can see that my wife did the article, and she ranked literally on the first page and #1. This is the company. And I believe I ranked again. Yes, I ranked there. So I've got 2 links on page 1 with Google, and I believe I have another one on page 2. Most people don't go to page 2 though, but yep, there it is. So I have three categories, or 3 links, if you will, that's on Google that if somebody clicked them would take them to my site. What's really cool about that is it's free. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that. And by the way, she did that on the first try, or the first day. So as soon as she published that article, it ranked. So article writing is key, and that's really how you're going to get traffic. Now, on some of your other sites, if you're a blogger on another platform like Empower Network, you want to do it daily because, again, the more you blog, the more ranking you're going to get because the more popular the website gets. Okay? So now I'm going to go into how you go about doing that. Well, first of all, let's talk about keyword research. Okay, now I put my own keyword in here. All you have to do is go to Google and then Google keyword tool and then click on Google's keyword tool. So I'll show you how to do it. You just come to Google. It's really the easiest way. I mean, if you know the website, just key it in the address. But keyword tool, oops, keyword tool, and there it is, Google keyword tool. So that's all you have to do. There's going to be the little graphic thing that you have to type in for your first time for the day. That's so that it keeps all the bots out. Okay. Now, if I was to put just the word debt in there, that's a keyword. If I was to put a whole phrase like, how do I get out of debt? That's a keyword phrase. And I like phrases because that's typically what people search for. Get me out of debt, help me with that, that sort of a thing. Now, in my niche, it's very competitive. So you're going to see, like with the word debt, you're going to see how high. This means the competition is fierce. It's high. It's going to cost a lot of money if you're using PPC, or it's going to be a lot harder for you to rank for it. So let's just get, I'm not sure, this one's misspelled, but yet it's got that. So let's go with debt consolidation. That's spelled wrong as well. But I'm going to see, show me, let's see, Google search. And you'll see 21 million page loads. Now, 21 million would be very difficult to rank for it. Not only is this competitive SEO-wise, which is the search engine optimization, but it's also very competitive ad-wise. Meaning, if I went to page to page to page, chances are there's different ads on every page, and it's a bidding war. These here would probably cost, again, $7 to $10. Some of them maybe even $15 per click. Very expensive. That's why I like SEO. So I just want to debunk that, If you're in a niche, just keep playing with your keyword phrases to find, you want this to say low, medium's even good. I'm able to rank for high competitive keywords. And again, all I'm doing is article writing. So now we're going to get into how you go about doing that. This is where you do your keyword research and you're wanting to see some volume. So let's do this. Let me type in debt. Let's see. Debt negotiations. I teach debt negotiations. Okay, so let me search. And let me see. Okay, so this one has 1,000 local searches, which I know it's got more than that. Probably the reason why is we're in January right now. That number is going to jump considerably throughout the month, especially in February. The holidays were here, and you're going to see that some of your local results are a little less. Now, here's what you can do. If you open up a key or an account with Google, and Google will allow you. And by the way, opening account is free. So if you want to do PPC advertising, I highly recommend opening an account and using the keyword tool inside of that. The reason being, Google gives you additional tools, such as they'll show you the searches per month. So if you're campaigning, you may find that maybe March is the best month for something, or maybe January is. Like if you're in the dieting niche, January might be the best month for you. And I just have to grab some water here. I'm starting to dry out. So yeah, that's how you're going to get the keywords research is you just come here, type in your keyword phrases, and start playing with it. Look for the monthly results. You're going to find that some of them have, like right now, I'm asking for the month result, and I'm only in day 3. Okay, so. And the reason why we wanted to reshoot this video is there's some changes that are happening. And these changes are better for you. It's a lot easier today to rank because Google slapped all of these black hat tricks that are out there, like backlinking. And I'm going to talk about that as well. Okay, so enough with the keywords. I'm going to have additional training on this that'll help you. But right now we're going to go into blogging. So the first thing we need to do is log in. And I'm already logged in. Once you log in, you just click on post. And usually you'll see where it'll say new. If you see this right here, you see this new, you just go to new, click post. And there you are. Now, below this video, I have a checklist for SEO. Now remember, SEO stands for search engine optimization. That's how you optimize your articles to appear in Google searches, Yahoo, Bing, and all the other search engines, okay? That's how you are able to rank. The idea is to try to rank on the first page, and therefore you're going to get a lot of traffic. Especially if you have, let's say, a keyword phrase or a keyword that, let's say, there's 2,000 searches a month for. You're going to get decent traffic for that. This is why some people, if they can't rank for it in an article, they'll rank for it by paying for it, okay? The Google ads. Now, some will say, hey, I never click on those ads. I know they're ads and I never click on them. I always look for local results. The other thing about article writing, or blogging, if you will, is most people want to know more. And this is the secret that I'm going to show you that's going to really help you dominate your article writing and allowing you to rank for very competitive keywords. Now, again, I'm ranking for keywords that have 2,000 page loads. I'm sorry, 2 million page loads. When most people will tell you, you don't want to go over 500,000 page loads because it's going to be difficult to rank number one, or at least get on the page, the first page. Well, I'm here to tell you, you can do it if you follow these steps. Okay, so remember to print off the SEO checklist, and now you're going to follow along. The very first thing that we're going to do is, now I have SEO Presser on mine. It's software. Notice that this percentage over here on the right is 0%. I'm going to show you how that works. But again, I'm giving you a one-sheet checklist. You don't need SEO Presser. If you don't have it, if you have it, great. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. That's a plugin that you got to pay for. If you don't have it, again, I'm doing better without it. And it's because we've played with this for so many years that we now know exactly what you're going to need to do. And we know all the tricks and techniques on how to rank well. And the bottom line, it comes down to this. Google wants things to read organically and correct. They don't want to see a lot of keyword stuffing and stuff like that. So you got to be able to rate or write with flow. Now, I do have a brother-in-law that happens, and Paul, if you're watching this, hello. But my brother-in-law is a poet, and he has a website called Poems of Paul. Now, this is not going to play for him like it would for you guys, meaning if he's writing poems, he's not really going to do keyword research and stuff like that because they're his poems. Now, he may use keywords in tagging, and I'm going to show how to tag, but so he's going to do some things differently. But if you're a blogger, and that is one thing that he could do, is he could blog and then have a page specifically for his poems, okay? So I hope I don't confuse you there. What I'm trying to say is you're not going to try to grab keywords and then write a poem around the keywords. It wouldn't make sense, right? However, if you're trying to rank for a niche that you're in, then yes, you're going to do some keyword research and you're going to write articles around those keywords in order to rank and drive traffic to your website. So with this one here, let's say how to blog. So how to blog or blog training. So this could be like 10 tips on how to blog. Okay. So right there, this is what's called an H1 tag, or an H1 meaning heading. This is the heading, the first heading. Okay, so on your sheet, you're going to see the very first check mark that you're going to place on your checklist is your keyword. You're going to put your keywords in here. So you got to determine what your keywords are or what your keyword phrase is. And remember, you already did the research on it. You want to see that there's more than 200. Now, if you have 100 and 150, 175 people going or using a keyword phrase, and it's a very, it's not competitive, you may want to do it anyway. I find that you're going to want at least 500 page loads, okay? I'm sorry, 500 searches per month or greater. The higher the better, but remember, the higher sometimes the more competitive it gets, but you're going to want 500 or greater. I like to personally see over 1,000, but you can still make money on 500 or less. It's just, again, you got to play with it. You got to make sure that it's a very lucrative industry to be in. Then you're going to want to rank for that. Okay, so this would be a 10 tips on how to blog. Okay, so that's my keyword phrase. Let's say that I'm going after, and let's suppose that how to blog was really the keyword phrase that I was after. Google loves direction, so does people. If somebody's searching for something, if they see 10 tips on something, they're more likely to do that. Now, here's a little trick. Start paying attention to articles in newspapers or magazines. If you look at a magazine, the cover, think of that as like a Google front page. 10 tips on how to do this, 10 tips to get your abs, 5 tips to lose weight. You're going to see a lot of that, and the reason why, they know it works. So learn from the ones that know how to do it, and typically they're magazines. What I like to do is find the most competitive magazines out there, the magazines that are doing the best, have the most readership and sell the best, and see what they're doing, and then incorporate that into your writing. This is what I've done, including my advertisements. I look at how other people are doing ads. Let's face it, if you're looking at an ad company that somebody spends millions on creating a print ad, don't you want to emulate that? You don't want to copy it, obviously, but you can emulate it. See what they're doing and use that as a tool. Okay, so now I've got my H1 tag, 10 tips on how to blog. Now the next thing I want to do is start writing. Now typically you're not going to put another H2 tag yet, but basically I'm going to start blogging now. The very first sentence, I'm going to want my keyword phrase in it. So here are my top 10, tips on how to blog. Now, I'm not going to write a whole article because, first of all, as you can see, I'm not a fast typist. But there would be my first sentence, let's say. And then, of course, I'm going to write more. Then I'm going to actually have it broken down to my 10 tips, right? Well, when I go to start my 10 tips, I would do this. Now, mind you, I would have probably a whole paragraph here. I would warm them up as to what I'm going to teach them, and then I'm going to go into my 10 tips, right? So at this point, I would probably have a whole paragraph. Then I would do top 10 tips. Actually, I'm going to want to capitalize that. Tips on how to blog. At that point, I would do this. I would grab it. Then you come here and change it to an H2 tag. So now I have my H2. Okay? See how this is working. So here would be my first sentence. And the very first thing I'd want to do is take this. Actually, I'm going to come back to that. So I'm going to just show you. So at this point, I would come down and I would go back to paragraph. And now I'm going to either bullet or number. Being that it's top 10, I'm going to number it. So I could either count down or I can start with number 1. So the top one is, let's say, right for SEO, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to obviously do this. And then I would go all the way to my, my 10 tips, if you will. Then I would summarize something, or I'd write additional on, maybe I would break it down. So I would give my 10 tips, and then I would start with 1 and break it down as to why. Explain all of the steps, okay? Because here's why. One of the things that you're going to want to do is have a 300 to a 500 word count. Now again, if you have a website to where you're doing quotes, again, you're not going to do SEO that way. There's a different way around that. If you have a website to where you're writing poetry, Again, don't worry about this stuff. You're just going to write your poetry here, and your one tag or your H1 tag is going to be the title of your poem. Okay? Now, after I'm done doing this, I'm going to show you all of the things that you need to do in order to help you with your SEO. Now, let's suppose that I wrote the whole article. Now I'm going to show you all of the other things that you're going to need to do. Now, again, I'm going to just give another sentence just so I can do something here. Let's see. Make sure you, whoops. Wow, this is bad. I'm trying to go over my mic cord, so. Let's see, that you researched regarding blah, 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 blah. Okay, so at this point, let's pretend I have a whole, whoops, I didn't want to do that. This is a nice little handy tool. This is the undo. So I'm going to undo what I just did there. So let's suppose that I have this all written out. Now, let's go down to the checklist. The very first thing that you're going to want to do is your H1 tag, which we already did. Second thing is H2. And then somewhere down here, like let's say we were going to break down the 10 tips, then we would start that heading, that subheading. These are all subheadings. That subheading would be an H3. So all I would have to do is go here and go to my H3, and then I could start my H3 tag or my subheading 3. Okay? Now, throughout this article, and again, let's pretend that this is a 300 word count or better. What I'm going to do is now I'm going to come back and I'm going to italicize like this here. I'm going to do this. The reason being is Google looks for these things. It recognizes that this is important. So I'm going to italicize some. Now, all you need to do is italicize maybe one or two. Then you're going to go through the article. Now, being that this is already bolded in the sub or the heading, you don't necessarily need to bold it, okay? But if it wasn't, you could do like even with this word, even though it's not the exact word, I want you to do this. This is what most people are not doing, and this is why they're not ranking as good. So I'm going to take blogging because it's related to blog, and I'm going to bold that, okay? The other thing you're going to want to do is when you look through, so you got your H3 tag, did you bold at least one keyword phrase? Did you italicize at least one keyword or keyword phrases or tags? Now I'm going to come back to the tags here in the moment, but the second thing you're going to want to do is underline. So once you've done a few this way, go back and underline at least one or two. So at this point, we're going to underline. Don't underline every one because it's just not going to be, again, that's not organic. Most people don't do that. I'm going to show you a trick here. When I underline, there's two things that I want to accomplish. And that is, I already have to underline this anyway, right? Well, it actually counts if you actually link the keyword phrase. So let's suppose I'm writing this article because I'm selling something on how to blog, okay? Or maybe I have a course on it. Maybe it's the Academy. What I would do then is grab this, how to blog, and then I'm going to come up here and link it. So all I did was click on that chain link. Let me do it again. You have where you can break a link if you don't want it linked, or you can link it. So I'm going to link it for this one here. And let's say I want the biz room. Usually you're going to link it to somewhere where you're going to grab their email. And typically I'm going to want it to open up into a new window. Now another thing that you could do, now I actually went outside of my blog. Some people say not to do that. Have links come in, don't link out. I have found that it's worked either way. But if you would rather, what you may want to do is link it to one of your pages. So let's suppose in this blog you're talking about maybe yourself and there was a keyword phrase in there, my bio. You would highlight my bio, you would underline it or link it. When you link something, it automatically underlines. So just remember that, okay? Now we have an underline. You would check that. The other thing you're going to want to do is do an image. So I'm going to grab an image. Typically your image. Now again, if you're writing poetry or if you're writing something like quotes and it doesn't make sense to have an image, don't worry about it. Okay, this is for article writing. Now what I would do is come to add media, and I'm just going to, for the sake of it, I'm going to just grab one that I have. So let's do this one. Okay, now it's a bad one because it doesn't really, whoa, that thing's huge. Let's resize it. As you can see, I clicked on the picture. I'm going to resize it and put it left. Now I'm going to show you something here in a minute. Man, that picture is huge. Let me resize it again. And I'm going to resize it one more time. This should be good. Okay, so there's my image. Okay, so now let's suppose that image actually worked for how to blog. Now it's a bad image because obviously what does a frog have to do with blogging? Kind of rhymes though, frog, blog. Okay, so let's go. Now you're going to click on the image. The very first thing I want you to do is break the link. Okay, did you see what I just did there? And the other thing I want you to do, every time you're writing, come down and save the draft. Do not publish yet. That would be a no-no. Why? As soon as you publish, if you've got Google crawling your site and you got misspelled words in there or the grammar's wrong and you haven't edited it yet, that's not going to be a good thing. So the very first thing you're going to do is save the draft. And that's what I'm doing now. So I saved the draft, and I'm also going to show you all of these functions on the right side, what they are and what they do for you. Right now, let's just write the article first. So at this point, notice now this is non-clickable, okay? If I did not do that and somebody was reading this blog post, that picture is linked inside the website, right? Because it was uploaded to the site. If they click on it, it's no big deal. All they do is it just comes up to a blank page with the image. But we don't want that, okay? So at this point, now I want to come to the image and I want to go here. And before I do that, watch what I do here. I'm going to take this and I'm going to grab it and I'm going to say copy. Now I'm going to come to the image. Now on your one sheet, notice where it says insert an image with an alt tag containing your keyword or keyword phrase. This is what most people do not do, and this is what hurts their article. So if you insert a picture and it's labeled frog, but your article is 10 tips on blogging, it doesn't mix. And you're also missing out on SEO because remember, I'm going to get out of this for a second because I want you guys to really get this. If I go to Google, if I come to Google, notice up here, now some of these you're not going to see because it's out of the frame, but you have view, search, image, map, play, YouTube News, Google, Gmail, and so on and so forth, right? Well, look at these search engines that are already there. Remember, Google owns YouTube, and YouTube is a search engine. I'm going to come back to that, and I'm going to show you how YouTube will actually put your article on steroids. I have a whole YouTube video marketing thing that we're going to cover on a different module, but right now I'm just going to show you how all of this works together. But notice how they have images, okay? So with images, you know that Google crawls them. Otherwise, you wouldn't have any. So let me put images. I'll just, for sake of arguments, put my own name. Now, here's something interesting. I want to point this out too. Notice for my own name, we have 305 million page loads. 305 million. That is typically really difficult to link on, but notice that I'm ranking number 1 for it. I'm ranking my Facebook. I'm ranking LinkedIn. I'm ranking Twitter. Then somebody's got Timtown 10. That's not me, and nor did I die. Notice this image of, in these images here, this is me. This is me. Here's my YouTube channel. Here's my Pinterest. But you see how I dominate? You're going to want to dominate your own name. Again, we'll talk about that at a later date. I have a lot of training on this. It's imperative that you do it. For some of the obvious reasons, you're going to get people that are going to try to steal your traffic. You might not be known now, but you eventually will, okay? My name is searched a lot. I think I get right around 4,000 to 10,000 searches a month, which, by the way, drives great traffic to my sites. Some of them are just wanting my program or want to know more about me, and that's what they do, okay? So you want to present well here. But let's go to images. If I come to images and I see 1, 2, 3, I see a lot of weird images too, but you see all these images, for whatever reason, they have tags with probably the word town in it, okay? Because my name, you know, city, town, state, and stuff like that. But you'll see, whoops, there was mine. I was in my studio right there. So there's my image here. Out of screen is another image. You'll see it right here. Thank God this is not mine right here. But you'll see these images. This is my image. Google crawls them. So images is imperative. So you want this to work for you. So again, let's go back to it. And instead of having the alt text frog, I'm going to want it to be my keyword phrase, because I want Google, when it crawls the images, when it crawls this image, I want it to be my keyword phrase that I'm trying to rank for. So do you see how the article is like on steroids? It's got all of this stuff working for it. The other thing I want to do is come here in the title. I'm going to title it the same way as well. Maybe I want to title it a little differently. I could put 10 tips on blogging. Okay, so I'll do that. 10 tips on blogging. Now, it's imperative that my alternative text is the same, but my title text I can have is that, okay? And then I just hit update, and it is. Okay, now let's talk about the rest of the things. Now remember, again, 300 to 500 word count. Make sure that you link a keyword or a phrase to another page on your website. I have linked it out, like to one of my offers or to one of my landing pages. You've learned that as far as affiliates and the training on affiliates and your own products, if you will. Now what we need to do is do the tag and category. Now with this, you can make a category. See this one here where it says add a new category? If you don't already have categories set up, I highly recommend that you just go through and start setting up your categories, especially if you know what you're going to be writing on. Like with me, multiple streams of income, reasons why businesses fail, website design, you know, all of the things that's going to be relevant. Now, if I don't have anything relevant, like I don't here, I'm going to add something new. So I'm going to say blogging, okay? Or tips on blogging. Let's do that. That's even better yet. So I'm going to add the category. So now the category is there. I'm going to uncheck the uncategorized because you don't want that. Okay, you want this. So I'm going to check the tips of blogging and anything else that might refer to it. How to write a blog post. So I'm going to do that. Okay. Now the next thing, and you're only going to want like 1 or 2 categories. That's it. But down here, tags. This is a different scenario here. Let me come down here and I'm going to add tags. The first thing I'm going to want to do is blog, add that, and then notice the tag here. These are the tags, blogging, And believe it or not, I'm going to do this. This is another thing people don't do. Tips. And let's see, more blogging. Let's see, articles. So I'm going to write or name tags that are relevant to the article. Now, here's something that my wife did that I thought was bizarre, and she's, it's very unique. First of all, let's just go to that website, and I'm just going to show you an example. So if I came to this one here, this is what an article will look like when you're done. Okay, here's the H1. Actually, she got this reversed. This is an H2. This is an H1. That's all right, though. So we have the article that she wrote here. Notice how this is italicized, drowning in debt, debt help. She tagged things that weren't completely the exact keyword phrase, if you will. Here's the debt help services, Buffalo, New York, and then she drowning in debt. Okay, she have found that if it's similar, that if it's within a phrase and it's similar to the keyword phrase, that it actually helps you. There's what's called anchor text, anchor tags. So you can work around that, and for whatever reason, it's just working, and we found that it was working really well. Remember, she ranked very well with this blog post, and matter of fact, she beat out pages that we probably shouldn't have beat out. So these are the type of things that you want to look for. The other thing you want to do is chunk it down. Make your paragraphs 3 to 4 sentences long, no more than 5. The reason being is everything is backlit, even on the readers. And it's really hard for the eyes. Now, this one's a little bit more, but it's hard on the eyes if you had everything running into one another. You can't do that, okay? So make sure you chunk it down. If you're doing like poems or quotes, if you have a quote site, then don't worry about it because it's going to chunk down anyway, because typically that's how you would write those. Okay, so remember, all of the SEO checklist, remember to have a picture, and remember to do your category as well as your tags. You're probably going to want 10 tags, no more than 15, but 10 tags would be good. Now, once that's done, if you want to go and get your post on steroids, right under your first paragraph, okay, I would insert a video if you have a video related to whatever it is that you're blogging about. So if you're marketing for something, very important to add video. There are some people that every blog post that they write has a video in it. Here's what they do. Most of the times they'll just shoot the video and then have the video, now I'm going to forget what it's called, but you basically have it dictated, if you will, and have the transcript, that's what I meant, the transcript in as the article. So you have the video transcribed and you have the video in between the transcribed article. You can do that. Remember to still add picture. Sometimes if I have a video, though, I don't need a picture, but if you did, again, it's the article on steroids. Trust me, it's just going to work that much better. Now, when you do a video, just like an article, remember like this here. Let me just go to this real quick. When you do a video in YouTube, you're going to find that they're going to want the same stuff with the video. So you're going to title it, right, just like you would your blog. So if you wrote a video on this, wouldn't this be great? 10 tips on blogging. So I could do a video on 10 tips. Matter of fact, I might do it. 10 tips on blogging. And then I'm doing my alt text, and then of course with the video though, they're going to ask you for a summary or description. That's when you're going to really want, again, 300 words. Make it like another article. Now you got Google crawling the pictures. They're crawling the article, the blog post on your site, and they're crawling video. And all of a sudden they say, hey, all 3 things add up into the site, and that's how you get better ranking. So remember all of that. Have this checklist right beside you at all times. Again, remember to chunk down your info. This is very easy to do. Now let me give you the one last tip here. Here's what's really cool about your blog post. see this where it says draft. Once you're done editing and you know you like it, you can preview it, first of all, to see what it's going to look like. You can also come here and view it in a larger text, if you will, or the editor. So now it takes everything aside and you got this nice, clean, bright text editor, if you will, to be able to write in. I like using that, but personally, none of this bothers me. These here, if you're writing in Word first, make sure you use your clipboards. You just come to Word, cut and paste. So you copy it on Word, the whole thing, and you paste it here. Just remember, if you title it in Word, grab the title and put your title up here. This is the area where you're going to put the title of your blog post. Okay? The other thing I want you to know, if your blog post is restricted, and it's kind of cool, you can get people to opt in on your website. Maybe they have to become a member of your site or register to your site. It's not a bad idea to do that. For one, it helps you build a list. All you have to do is set your levels to 0. Now, if you don't have a membership feature to your website, don't worry about it. You can also come here and it'll say publish. Notice how it says right here, public. You can edit, and I can, first of all, I can make that post sticky. All that means is that post is always going to stay right at the top. Normally, you're not going to want that, but if you did, that's what you do. If you want to password protect it, you can password protect it. Now they have to opt in to get that password. That's kind of cool as well. If you want to make it private, you can make it private and then send a link to somebody. So if it's a private thing that you're teaching, you can do this. The other thing neat about this is you can charge for it. Remember, if you went through the training on your free line, or if you went through the training on creating your leader product, this would be a great way to have a leader product because it doesn't cost you anything. So you can tell somebody for $37, I'm going to teach you exactly how to do this. And bingo, it's almost like a protected membership website. Once they pay, you give them they would get through an autoresponder. I'm going to show you how to do that on another training video, but through an autoresponder, once they pay for it, it will send them a link to the paid area. Now, it's not as great as a full-blown membership site, but I'll tell you right now, you can make some pretty decent money doing that. Okay, so I hope this has really helped you. That is all the tips on blogging. Now, for you to never have writer's block, all you really need to do is pay attention to what's in the news. Remember, you do not always have to blog about just your subject. You can blog about anything. If you're using Empowered Network, for instance, or Easy Articles, remember, Easy Article, Blogger.net, they get high traffic. The only problem with those services is they have a bunch of ads that could compete with you. So with me, maybe I'm training something on negotiations. I'm training a negotiation course. If I wrote on Easy Article, all of a sudden there might be some ads about negotiating. Maybe I don't want that, right? Well, with Empower Network, if you're with the Empower Network, if you're an affiliate of Empower, anything that they click on the top or right side, you're going to actually make money on that because you're an affiliate. Okay? Remember, the affiliate marketing is a great way of making money and getting yourself to full-time income online. Okay, so remember, writer's block is no big deal. See what's out there. First of all, always write what you're interested in. It's always look for ideas too and write them down. I have a journal, and every time I get an idea on an article, I write it down. I write down like the heading, if you will. And then I write down bullets, and then from there, I design my article. So again, I hope this has helped you. We're going to have additional training, but this is really going to get you going and make you become an expert in article writing and blogging. The very last thing, I forgot about this, the very last thing I want to do is show you this. And where is it? Status, let's see. Edit. Okay, this is a draft. If I was to publish, oh, here it is. 1 second, Cash. notice where it says publish immediately? You can edit this. You know what's cool about this here? Let's suppose I was going to go on vacation. If I was going on vacation, I could write like 4 or 5 blog posts and then actually pick the dates of when I want the blog post to be released. It does it automatically. I don't have to do anything. I could be on some beach somewhere and, 3 days from now, my blog post is going to post when I tell it to, or 4 days from now or whatever. Isn't it cool? So you can make this thing work for you. You can have it hand delivered to people, especially if you made it to where it was a continuity program. You can release the information, every 2 days or whatever. Kind of cool. So just remember that as well. Okay, I will see you on the next module. I thank you for going through this training, and together we're going to help you mind your own business. Thank you again.